We checked him out in college at Arizona with Coach Lute Olson, and we checked him out for 11 seasons in the association. And now you can check him out with new episodes added every Monday to Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Complex's YouTube channel. The co-host of Out of Bounds, Agent Zero, and Hibachi himself, Gilbert Arenas. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
How's life?
Life is good.
Yeah?
Life is good. You know, I'm on Out of Bounds at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
It gave me a chance to come back and be a part of the sports world again.
Part of the. What'd you miss? Did you miss just being part of it?
Just being part of it. You know, when you dedicate your whole life to, performing, teammates, the crowd, and then when you get out of spotlight, you kind of miss it a little bit.
Yeah, I know a lot of it's the issue of being somebody that you know for years as an athlete, right? And then not many businesses do you need to find a second act in your mid-30s,
Yes.
right? I mean, it really, it's certainly when you excel at something. I mean, in the NFL, the average career is 4 years old.
Yeah, I feel sorry for them because there's 55 of you guys,
right?
Just bonding every day, and you guys are with each other more than you are with your actual family. So,
right.
When that career is over, I'm pretty sure it's hard on them.
Gilbert Arenas here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's the best player you played with?
With? I can't say it myself, so...
No, you must remove yourself from the equation.
I'll say Antoine Jameson.
Really?
Yes.
That is not the name that I would have expected to come out of your mouth. Okay.
Dwight Howard, but, he was still young. It didn't... I had half a season with him, so I didn't really get to see his greatness, but I seen it coming, before the back injury. But Antoine Jameson.
Antoine Jameson.
Yeah, Mr. 20 and 10.
Okay, Mr.
Mr. 20 and 10. Yeah.
I guess he was that. And when you take a look at the NBA right now, how do you see this season playing out? Do you see Houston being able to beat Golden State when it all comes down to it? Because that seems to be the biggest drama that's left to this season right now.
When it comes to regular season, I put no bearing on it because the style you play has no bearing in playoffs. So Houston's style with James Harden basically playing ISO basketball, every possession he gets it, I don't know how that works in the playoffs, especially if you play a team like San Antonio first, who is a half-court defensive team. So, depending on what the matchups are, can be problematic for Houston.
So, but you don't see how they've played so far this year, that Harden, Capella, and Chris Paul now have only 2 losses after Toronto took care of their winning streak. I mean, you don't see...
Because of the way the schedule is, you have 3 games, 4 games in 7 days, it's hard to actually set up a game plan against Houston. And just like, Golden State when they won 72, they're moving so fast, it's hard to really, if I'm playing Houston today, Toronto tomorrow, you're not really game planning for these guys. So once the playoff comes, you get to sit down and say, okay, when James Harden goes right, he's going to step back 95% of the time. When he goes left, he's going to tween, then drive. So, I mean, you get to break that down in the playoffs, not in regular season.
So you think when it's all said and done, Houston might not even get to the Western Conference Finals? Because if that's the case,
I mean, it depends on what the road is.
Of course,
it's all matchups.
Let's figure this out right now. Right now, it would be Denver, could be Houston, it could be San Antonio, it could be a whole host of any 8 seeds that they see. But let's just even move on. I mean, if it is Houston, Oklahoma City, we just saw them destroy Oklahoma City moments ago.
But that's a team I wouldn't want to play in the playoffs.
Why?
Because Houston has 2 stars. With Chris Paul and James Harden. OKC has 2 stars, with your third being Carmelo. If you shut down those 2, you still have a Carmelo Anthony who can possibly score 40 a night and carry that team. That's what makes that team scary in the playoffs, because you have 3 guys who can score 40 a night. Houston has 2. Golden State has 3 and a possible guy who can score 17 with Draymond Green. So it comes to star power. When you're keying in and taking a player out, what player's going to step up? And, you take out James Harden, if Chris Paul is scoring 40, your team is not that good, because that means he's not passing to everybody else.
Gilbert Arenas here on the Rich Eisen Show. So when LeBron makes a decision where he goes next, should he do what you did, which is flip a coin? Did you really flip a coin to decide where you were going?
I actually
as a
did
free
flip
agent?
a coin, but I think mentally I already was choosing Washington because it did land on Clippers, and I usually do the opposite of what.
Hold on a second. Okay, so this is year 3 for you, right?
Yeah, this is year 3
in the NBA. All right. And you have a choice to go wherever you want to go, and you take out what, a quarter, dime? What do you have?
Took out a quarter.
It's a quarter. And then you flipped it, and it came up whatever side was for the Clippers. Is what you're saying?
It came out Clippers. Clippers was ahead, and then I said, okay, I usually do the opposite of what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to Washington.
So if it came up, tells you to go to the Clippers?
I don't know. I probably would have still went to Washington because it was just a new start. You know, there was no legit star in Washington at the time.
Right.
So, you know, I just felt it was better than staying home and had to worry about tickets and all that, friends.
Right. So you go to the East Coast, you go to Washington.
Yeah.
Gilbert Arenas here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get into it. What happened to you in Washington, Gilbert?
Which part?
Okay.
The good part or the bad part?
Well, I guess the part that kind of derailed your career a little bit, Gilbert.
It was injury.
Okay.
It was injured. I had 3 surgeries in 14 months.
Okay.
You know, and I was unuseful anymore with a big contract. So therefore, they needed to find any kind of way to get rid of that contract. And that's why it was me pulling the gun on my teammate instead of it being the opposite.
And that's what it was. It was the opposite way around.
I was never near a gun or never touched a gun.
But you did not bring one into your locker room back in the day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you never touched it?
No, never touched it. I get to the gym at 8 o'clock in the morning. We have practice at 11, so I'm there before anyone.
Yes.
So no one was there to see me touch a gun. So I just put it on a chair, told them to pick one.
Okay. Huh. All right. So what would you have told yourself back then that you know right now as the current Gilbert Arenas? What would you have told that person that was getting into an issue with a teammate?
It was okay.
Over what, by the way, before you answer that question?
Over nothing. It's a sports thing. It's like when someone says you're going to do something, I'm going to pull your bluff card. That's just that athlete's mindset. You tell them they can't do something, they're going to do it. So it was one of those things where, you know, my teammate said he was going to do something, and I was like, oh, let me see it. So I'll bring you the guns, and I want to see you, you know, do what you're going to do to me. And that's what that was on my side. You know, so it was more of I'm just pulling his bluff card.
Right.
And it just went south.
Because you think the team wanted to get out of your contract.
Yes. See, a felony would have got out of my contract, which I did plead guilty to. Don't know why. Everything was moving so fast, so I just pleaded guilty to, you know, I thought it was gonna, because my lawyer told me that if you plead guilty, you won't have to go to court. So it was one of those things, like everything was just moving so fast. So I was like, all right, guilty, let's just get this thing over with. If I did any jail time, they can get off my contract. So rumor was they were really pissed that I didn't get jail time because they couldn't get off my contract.
I don't mean to laugh, but I mean the way you're describing it.
Like
I
tell people, if you look at if you look at what I got suspended for,
yes,
it has no mention of guns, just detrimental to the team.
So what would you tell that Gilbert Arenas back then that you would know now as your current version, Gilbert Arenas?
I mean, the obvious answer to say, oh, don't bring, you know, a gun to the locker room, but I can't say I would tell myself that. We had paintball shootings in the locker rooms. You know, people carried guns in the locker room, stored them in the locker room. Like if you did an NBA sweep right now, you'll still find a gun in the locker room.
You would?
Yeah. Especially on a Friday, Saturday night, yes. Because our arenas are downtown, and most people live on the outskirts. So when they go to party, they have their weapons. Instead of going to the club with it, they put it in their locker, and then that's how they travel. So keep it in their car under the arena, which is still part of the arena, so. So a gun charge in the NBA was 3 to 7 games, which I was in the 1 to 3 area, but it was so big that you couldn't suspend me for 1 to 3 games. So I got suspended for detrimental to the team because of the and they said I wasn't mentally stable. And they get to hold that as long as they want. And that's what David Stern did.
Gilbert Arenas here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, let's move to the current day here. Out of Bounds. What do you want people to know about this program if they already haven't caught it now that new episodes are being added right now?
I call it a real take on sports in a joking way. I got Adam Caporal as one of the co-hosts. Damn, I can't even remember your name.
We got Pierce Simpson.
And Pierce Simpson. That's my guy, and I couldn't remember his name right now.
You know what? I have the same problem with Joe Brockman over there all the time.
And it's 3 sports guys, and we just get to talk sports in any language we decide fits. And it's like that, like with ESPN and other sports shows. If you have to guard what you're saying, then you really can't give truth to much. So you're just basically out there just going through the motions.
Well, I mean, you just spat, you didn't stutter with some of your answers here on this show, so you're kind of getting a little glimpse of what's on Complex YouTube channel. You with Adam Caporal and Pierce Simpson every single Thursday at 2 Eastern time. They called World's Most Dangerous Sports Show.
Yes, it gets there.
We always used to joke on SportsCenter, back in the day when I was there, late 90s, that we would love to have done a pay-per-view SportsCenter where we could have just worked blue, said whatever the hell was on the top of our mind.
And that's what we get to do.
Well, no, then Disney bought us, and then that was that was the end of that.
Yeah, we were sponsored by ESPN and ABC, and that Wednesday show, we had to calm it down a little bit.
I know. They're the only wild ride they'd like is Mr. Toads. That's pretty much. You go ahead and ask him the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gil, after you signed that huge deal, there was a lot of rumors about the house you were building, like 2 grottos and a fish tank, like a shark tank. Whatever happened to all that stuff?
No, I bought that house on the first contract, built the pool on the first contract, did all that on the first contract.
Okay.
I ended up selling it 2012. I just felt I was never going to go back to D.C., so I ended up selling it.
Got it.
So
I lost money on it, of course.
A shark tank? There was an actual tank with
sharks?
Yeah,
it was a shark tank, yeah. Something about sharks.
Was there ever a shark in there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name?
I didn't even name them. I know. It was little black tips.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
I had to tear it down because, people who are buying a house, they probably don't have the same passion to
taste as you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that didn't add value to the house, Gilbert?
No, it did not.
2 of my good friends are Wizards fans, so they wanted me to ask about it.
Okay.
So again, 3-time All-Star, co-host of Complex's Out of Bounds. Check it out on YouTube. Complex's YouTube channel every single Monday to Thursday. New episodes at 2 Eastern time. We're about to see a glimpse of it for the television-only audience. Good to see you, Gilbert Arenas.
Thank you.
You got Agent Zero here on the Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.